move the rug and just close it? Yeah. Just move the rug back. Guys, why don't you push it a little more? Bismillah, come in. Start. You can take this. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على مبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتاب العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله حي كريم إذا رفع رجل يديه أن يردهما صفرا خائبتين أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. We are supposed to start Hadith number 39 today, inshallah. But I would not like to miss the opportunity of explaining the last portion of Hadith number 38. It is very important because that is where the main sequence in a picture of that Hadith is explained, and the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts people's du'as and what the power is. I mean, you're doing so much, you're bringing so much piety into your life and nearness. And in the end, what does Allah do for you? How does Allah respond to your supplications? And how does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept people's dua? Something that a person should not overlook. And as a student of knowledge, I would like to explain this last line of this hadith. So hadith number 38, where the Prophet ﷺ says in the hadith, where Allah says in hadith al-Qudsi, وَلَئِنْ سَأَلَنِي لَأُعْطِيَنَّهُ. When this person becomes totally submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his eyes, her eyes, ears, hands, feet, when they are completely in control, under the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then in response to that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to this person whatever this person asks from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now it's all about asking, and then this person is granted. This is why the Prophet ﷺ has said, "Man futiha lahu abwab ad-du'a, futiha lahu abwab al-khayr." Anyone who is fortunate enough to make a lot of dua, if he or she is given the tawfiq to make supplication and dua over and over, know for this person there's a lot of good in this person's future. This person is destined for a great, blessed future because of dua. And what is dua, and how much is it accepted? When is it rejected? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this hadith al-Qudsi explains becoming near to Allah and earning proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we will talk about a few ways where a person becomes close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is something that a person needs to know. I know how to become close to my relatives, my friends, my classmates, my community. How do I earn the nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how do I maintain it? It's something that if it was easy, everyone would be a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not so easy, especially in this climate where the fitna is so much more than the good, and dhulm is more obvious than haqq. So you have this happening around us, but nevertheless, let's say what this hadith was saying so it makes more sense to us. مَنْ عَادَانِ وَلِيًّا فَقَدْ آذَنْتُهُ بِالْحَرْبِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whoever becomes an enemy or who shows enmity to my friend, I wage war against that person. وَمَا تَقَرَّبَ إِلَيَّ عَبْدِي. And my slave does not gain any nearness to me, which is more beloved than that which is more beloved to me, and his مِمَّا افْتَرَضْتُ عَلَيْهِ, and those actions which I made farad upon this person. So the easiest and the best way to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to obey the fara'id, the obligations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put upon this human. And again, وَلَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي, furthermore, and this human continues to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by acting upon those deeds which are voluntary actions, which Allah has not made as compulsory upon this human. حَتَّى أُحِبَّهُ, until I love this person. When I love this person, فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ, when I love this person, I become his ears. سَمْعُهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ. I become his ears that he listens with. وَبَصَرَهُ الَّذِي يَبْصِرُ بِهِ. I become his eyes that he watches and sees with, his hands that he touches with, his feet that he walks with, or she walks with. And you're gaining all this nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How does a person do this? And I said this last Halaqa when we were in the FIC, before we had the Halaqa at someone's house. We spoke about how a person can gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the fastest way to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Number one is Quran. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّكُمْ لَا تَرْجِعُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ أَفْضَلَ مِمَّا خَرَجَ مِنْهُ يعني القرآن. The fastest, no one can turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala faster than that which has come from Allah. مِمَّا خَرَجَ مِنْهُ. That which has come from Allah, His kalam. The more Quran you read, إِنَّكُمْ لَا تَرْجِعُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ بِشَيْءٍ أَفْضَلَ مِمَّا خَرَجَ مِنْهُ يعني القرآن. And of course, taqarrub, it takes time. You cannot just become the friend of Allah overnight. Of course, you can do tawbah, but there are levels of friendship. There's anbiya, there's siddiqeen, there's shuhada, there's salihin. You may be my friend, but there are people who are closer to me than you. So there are limits, and there are levels of friendship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you have people who are mutlaqan friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And knowing that if you are a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have everything you need at your disposal. And all you need to do is make dua. This is why the Prophet ﷺ said, لَوْ أَقْسَمَ عَلَى اللَّهِ لَأَبَرَّ رُبَّ أَشْعَثَ أَغْبَرَ مَدْفُوعًا بِالْأَبْوَابِ. There are a few people, they look very simple, their hair might be disheveled, their clothes might be patchy, and they look very simple, but if they were to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will accept their du'as. Allah will accept their supplications. When they come to someone's house, they might not even open the door for them. If they call someone, they might not even respond to their call. If this person messages someone or emails someone, there's no return. There's no answer. But these people, even if they're ignored by the public, and the doors of the public are ignoring these people, Allah's door is open for their supplications, and Allah answers them. And from the Sahaba, there are many. From amongst the many Sahaba which were known for the du'as to be accepted at the moment was Sa'ad ibn Waqqas. He was called Al-Mustajab al-Da'wat. He was known for it. Sahaba used to come to him and ask, oh Sa'ad, make dua for me. Because the Prophet ﷺ said to Sa'ad, Oh Allah, Allahumma stajib da'watahu. Oh Allah, you make this person whose du'as are always accepted. So you have the support of the dua of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm not saying that the rest of the Sahaba's prayers were not accepted, but Sa'ad ibn Waqqas was known for this. Just like Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah was known to be the Amin wa Hadi Ummah. And Mu'adh ibn Jabal was known to be the Mufti of this Ummah. And Hassan and Hussein were known to be Sayyida Shababi Ahl al-Jannah. And Fatima was to be known to be Sayyid al-Nisa'i Ahl al-Jannah. And we have Ubay ibn Ka'ab to be known as a Qari of this Ummah. So you have Salma bin Aqwa, a Sahabi who can outrace the fastest Arabian horse. You have Khalid bin Walid, Sayfullah. So you have other Sahaba who were given different qualities. You were Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Atiq, Siddiq. You had the Khalil of the Prophet ﷺ, the best friend. You have Umar bin Khattab, the Prophet ﷺ said, لو كان بعدي نبيا لكان عمر. If there was a prophet to come after me, it would be Umar. You have Uthman, who was given the privilege to marry both of the daughters of the Prophet ﷺ. Who was so modest, the angels were ashamed of him. The Prophet ﷺ was sitting and Uthman came in, and as he knocked on the door, the Prophet ﷺ told the wife, wait, let me fix my position the way I'm sitting, then let Uthman walk inside the house. So the Prophet ﷺ has special respect for every Sahabi. You have Ali, Uthman, you have Ubay ibn Ka'ab. These are Sahaba the Prophet ﷺ acknowledged individually. But Sa'ad ibn Waqqas was given a special quality, and that was any dua he made for someone or against anyone was accepted. For someone or against it. Someone was mocking Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. in the streets of Iraq. And Sa'ad ibn Waqqas heard this. And he told them, stop. He didn't stop, and he kept on mocking probably a rawafid, mocking Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, saying evil things about him. And Sa'ad ibn Waqqas said, stop. Didn't stop. He says, if you don't stop, that camel that is sitting there, I'll ask Allah to make this camel come and attack you. He said, yeah, right. He said, stop. He didn't. He made a quick dua. The camel comes and knocks this person out dead. He said, I warn you, don't do it. Someone, Umar radiallahu anhu asked one of the people of Iraq, how is Sa'ad ibn Waqqas as a governor in Iraq? He says, Sa'ad ibn Waqqas he's not, when he doesn't show up. When we need him, he's not there. And Sa'ad ibn Waqqas, he doesn't deal fairly and justly with the people of Iraq. So he complained about Sa'ad ibn Waqqas. So Umar radiallahu anhu ordered someone to tell Sa'ad ibn Waqqas, quickly make it back to Medina. Umar has to ask you a couple of questions. So Sa'ad ibn Waqqas comes straight to Medina. And Umar radiallahu anhu says, Ya Sa'ad, these are the complaints of people of Iraq, of Kufa. Are you mistreating them? They're saying you're not available for them. And they had some other complaints about Sa'ad ibn Waqqas. I mean, Sahaba were not afraid. They were not even cleared from the complaints and the bad mouth of the public at that time. So what are scholars of today? So Sa'ad ibn Waqqas, he says, okay. He says, in kana huwa kadhib. If this person is a liar, he's not cursing, but he's saying, in kana huwa kadhib. If this person is a liar, oh Allah, I ask you to give him a very long life. Atil umrahu. Give him a long life, disgrace him, and make him live poor. Give him a long life, disgrace him, and make him live poor. He was seen in the streets. He would go, asabani da'watu Sa'ad. He would be going around, and he became so old that he started to forget, he lost his memory, he was poor, nobody even took care of him. He would go around the streets of his city, and he says clearly, it's the dua of Sa'ad ibn Waqqas which has affected him. So Sa'ad ibn Waqqas also was there for good du'as. When Sahaba needed rain, they would turn to Sa'ad ibn Waqqas. When they needed victory, they would turn to Sa'ad ibn Waqqas. Sa'ad, you make dua, dua is accepted. If you're going to use your phone in the Halaqa, you're not going to benefit completely. No. Temporary benefit. Of course, your sins will be forgiven by the time you're done, but you want complete benefit. So Sa'ad ibn Waqqas who was given this quality of mustajab da'wah. Now my statement I want to share with you here is, what are the ways to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Number one is Quran. Quran is one of the fastest ways to gain nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then that brings me to a question. How much Quran do I read? How much Quran do you read? How well connected are we to the Quran? With Quran being available so much more than before on our phones, apps, MP3s, iTunes. I mean, the more the Quran is available, I'm afraid the less people are reading it. It's because there's so much, we can access Quran so much, I think part of it, we've lost value of it. If you ask the people in Bosnia and Chechnya and parts of the world where the Quran was like a hidden treasure, and to find the Quran was like, oh my God, you're like, wow, you value it more because it's not available. Because we have this Quran, all access, all available to us, like, it's my language. When I have time in Ramadan, I'll read it. So Quran is something that a person has to start reading. This is why Uthman bin Affan used to say, لو طهرت قلوبكم لما شبعتم من القرآن. If your hearts were clean, لما شبعتم من كلام ربكم. So if your hearts were pure, you would never get tired or content, like I read enough or I read too much. لما شبعتم من كلام ربكم. You will never feel like you've read enough of the Quran. You always want to read more. And that is what the Quran is teaching us. And somebody asked one of his students, أتحفظ القرآن? Did you memorize the Quran? Did you memorize a portion of the Quran? He says, no. So he's like, how do you enjoy life? فَبِمَا تَغَنَّمْ وَتَرَنَّمْ فَبِمَا تُنَاجِي رَبَّكَ. How do you talk to your Lord then? If you can't read the Quran, and if you haven't memorized the Quran, how? When you get bored, what do? Do you sing? Like, if you don't know the Quran, how do you enjoy life? The Quran is there for us to read and enjoy. This is why Allah says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Is it because the hearts are all sealed and locked up? The Quran used to come down at the time of the Prophet. The Sahaba would cry. وَإِذَا سَمِعُوا مَا أُنزِلَ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ تَرَى أَعْيُنَهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمْعِ مِمَّا عَرَفُوا مِنَ الْحَقِّ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا آمَنَّا فَاكْتُبْنَا مَعَ الشَّاهِدِينَ. They would see Quran, the Prophet would read Quran, they would cry. So this is something that you have to understand. Ibn Mas'ud says, مَنْ أَحَبَّ الْقُرْآنَ حَبَّهُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. Anyone that reads the Quran, loves the Quran, know that this person loves Allah and His Rasul. He loves the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Showing love to Allah is to love His book. This is a kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why a person should spend as much as time reading Quran, touching the Quran, being connected to the Quran. Just have some relationship with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of course you will notice your nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone that reads the Quran, the hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Anyone that asks me, Shaykh, I want to make dua. If I had only half an hour in my life, or in Laylatul Qadr, should I make dua or should I read Quran? Should I make dua or should I read Quran? I always say read Quran. Why? Because the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet said that Allah said in Hadith al-Qudsi, من شغله القرآن عن ذكري ومسألتي. من شغله القرآن عن ذكري ومسألتي أعطيته أفضل ما أعطي السائلين وفضل كلام الله على سائر الكلام كفضل الله على خلقه كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Anyone who is occupied and kept busy learning the Quran, memorizing the Quran and reading the Quran, and does not have the time to ask me for my favors upon him, I will give him more than I give to those who ask me. I will give him more compared to those who ask me for favors, because the preference and the greatness of the book of Allah is like the Allah over His creation. So if you're busy learning the Quran and you don't have time, Allah knows what you need. Allah will take care of your needs. So the Quran is such a powerful thing. And that's what Sahaba did. I mean, this is وَإِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس. If this Quran was revealed on mountains, the mountains could not take it. This is why in hadith, in the riwayat of Israeliyat, it says, ما وسعني أرضي ولا سمائي ولكن وسعني قلب عبد المؤمن الصالح. The heavens and the earth were not broad enough to bear the words of Allah, but the chest and the heart of a believer can memorize the book of Allah. It's not a hadith, it's a riwayat of Israeliyat. And Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali does have this hadith under the commentary of this hadith, this riwayat. Nevertheless, this Quran is very powerful. لو جعل القرآن في إهاب محترق. If the Quran was put into the heart of a person, this person will never burn in the fire of Jahannam. إن الذي ليس في جوفه شيء من القرآن كالبيت الخالي. That house that does not read the Quran is deserted, is empty, though it is fully furnished and it looks beautiful with the chandeliers and the furniture and the painting. But no, this house is completely deserted of the rahmah of Allah. And if the house is empty of the rahmah of Allah, it attracts shayateen and jinn. Then you wonder why houses get haunted. The first thing ulama do when they come to a house and people who are possessed by jinns, the first thing they do is read Quran. Because the jinn cannot take the power of the Quran. The Quran is that powerful. When the jinn, قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ أَنَّهُ اسْتَمَعَ نَفَرٌ مِنَ الْجِنِّ قَالُوا إِنَّا سَمِعْنَا قُرْآنًا عَجَبًا. When they heard the Quran, they were amazed. Even people who don't understand the language of Arabic, they don't understand. When they listen to Quran recited, they start to weep. They start to cry. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. So a connection with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very necessary for a Muslim. And imagine for those who don't read the book of Allah for days, weeks, years. Then you wonder why their heart is so hard and solid and nothing affects them. So reading the Quran is very important. You can say so much about the Quran. Anyone that memorizes the Quran, Allah, he will intercede or she will intercede for her family, 10 people. وَلْبِسَ وَالِدَاهُ تَاجًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. His parents, this person's parents will be given a crown on the day of judgment from the crown of Jannah and the clothes of Jannah before entering into Jannah. And they will say to Allah, Bima kusina hada, why have you given us such respect? Why have you given us such honor before even entering Jannah? The angels will reply, بِأَخْذِ وَلَدِكُمَا الْقُرْآنِ, because you took out time to teach your children the Quran. What I would like to say here is just make the intention and die. Even if you're trying and you don't completely memorize the Quran, if you die with this intention, you'll be resurrected with Hafaz al-Quran. That's good enough. That's good enough. So I ask myself and you to keep ourselves busy. And the second, number two, to gain connection with Allah, to become the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is excessive dhikr of Allah. Number one is Quran specifically, then dhikr of Allah. There's sometimes you can't read Quran when you're in the washroom, and you can't do dhikr in the washroom, of course. But when you walk into the washroom, you walk in with the dua, and you leave, you walk out with the dua. You're not really doing dhikr when you're sleeping, but you go to sleep with dhikr, and you wake up doing dhikr. Allahumma bismika amutu wa ahya, alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'da amatana wa ilayhi nushur. You get the reward like you're doing dhikr all night. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ goes, anyone that does wudu and goes to sleep in the middle of the night, if this person wakes up, makes any dua, Allah will accept this person's dua. If you go, any changes, or she changes position in her bed or his bed, like moves from one side to the other side, and then she's like, I have an exam tomorrow, Allah make it easy for me. Allah will accept that dua. Oh Allah, I have this interview tomorrow. Oh Allah, I want this, I want this. Allah will accept this dua. And if this person dies that night, this person dies the death of a shaheed. Because this person went to sleep with wudu. So Islam has given us so many exits and entrances. And when we're making mistakes, how to leave ourselves from mistakes. And how to enter the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So dhikr. Why dhikr? Allah says, أَنَا عِنْدَ الظَّنِّ عَبْدِي بِي أَنَا مَعَهُ إِذَا ذَكَرَنِي. I deal with my slave according to his expectations of me. Or how she expects from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone has strong faith, anything is possible. What, $1 million fundraiser? Really? 10 million? Have faith in Allah. Allah will never make you feel bad and never leave you alone. Never. Musa's mother put faith in Allah. وَالْقِهِ فِي الْيَمِّ وَلَا تَخَافِ وَلَا تَحْزَنِ. Don't worry about it. إِنَّا رَادُّوا إِلَيْكَ. We will bring this person back. وَجَعِلُوا مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. We'll make Musa come back to your house. Trust in Allah. The strongest element that the prophets had was trust. Prophet ﷺ, like all alone in the cave, trust in Allah. When Ali radiallahu anhu was made to sleep on the bed in Hijrah, Ali was like, Ya Rasulullah, they'll come and kill me. He said, Ali, don't worry. You will distribute my amana and you will meet me in Medina. It's nothing to worry about. You will distribute my amana and you'll meet me in Medina. Matter of fact, the non-Muslims at the time of the Prophet ﷺ had so much trust in the Prophet ﷺ, and this famous story of Abu Lahab's son, Utbah and Utayba. Abu Lahab's son, Utbah and Utayba, Prophet ﷺ told him that I make dua, oh Allah, yusallitak alayka kalb. I ask Allah to send a dog upon you, or a wild animal to kill you. When the son of Abu Lahab came to Rasulullah, he says, Talaqtu ibnatik, I've divorced your daughter, because they were in Kitaba, before Tabbat Yada Abi Lahab was revealed. And number two, Kafartu dinak, and I denounced your religion. I don't want anything to do with Islam. Because Abu Lahab went to his children, says, Wajhi min wajhikuma haraman in lam tutalliqahuma. It is haram for you to see me, it is haram for me to see you until you don't divorce it. The daughters of the Prophet ﷺ. And Zainab and Kulthum and Ruqayya were in the marriage with the two children of Abu Lahab. Only Kitaba. And Tabbat Yada was revealed. Abu Lahab was so offended that he made this happen. So the children of Abu Lahab came to Rasulullah, and particularly one of them made this bold statement, and he said, you know what, I don't want your daughter, and I denounce your religion. Prophet ﷺ was so hurt that he made this dua. I ask Allah to send an enemy, a wild beast or a dog over you. When he was traveling on the way to Syria, they camped in one of the jungles, and he saw lion or tiger or one of the wild animals in the jungle, and he said, you know what? قتلني Muhammad has killed me sitting. What? Muhammad all the way in Mecca. How is he going to kill you here? He says, no, these animals that I can see and I've spotted them, they're going to kill me tonight. So the people that were with him in the caravan, in the group, says, we will do everything to provide security for you. They put their luggage together and they put Abu Lahab's son on the highest level of the luggage so no animal could come near him. And they put their bedding and camped around Abu Lahab's son. The morning they woke up, they found his head on one side and his body chewed up by an animal. Umayyah and Ubay bin Khalaf, the person that spat at the Prophet ﷺ, and those Sahaba that spat at the Prophet ﷺ and disgraced the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said to him, your death will come in my hands. And the Prophet said all he did was spear him, and the spear lightly scratched the neck of this mushrik. And he started going crazy and he started losing his mind. He said, Muhammad has killed me, and the people of Makkah are like, this is just a small scratch. He said, Muhammad said he will kill me, and here I am dying. So the non-Muslims of Makkah and the mushrikeen of Makkah had faith in the statement of Rasulullah. And the Quran says this, يَعْرِفُونَهُمْ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ. They understood Islam, but their arrogance and their jealousy did not let them accept Islam. So dhikr of Allah, أَنَا عِنْدَ الظَّنِّ عَبْدِي بِي. Your expectation of Allah is how Allah will deal with you. أَنَا مَعَّهُ إِذَا ذَكَرَنِي. The more you remember Allah, the more Allah will be there with you. فَإِنْ ذَكَرَنِي فِي مَلَئٍ ذَكَرْتُهُ فِي مَلَئٍ خَيْرًا مِنْ. If you're remembering me in a gathering, Allah will remember you and me in a greater gathering of angels. وَإِنْ ذَكَرَنِي فِي نَفْسِي ذَكَرْتُهُ فِي نَفْسِي. If you remember Allah alone, Allah will remember you in the heavens. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ goes, he says, وَإِذَا ذَكَرَنِي عَبْدِي أَنَا مَعَهُ إِذَا تَحَرَّكَتْ بِي شَفَتَاهُ. When my slave remembers me, when his lips are moving, I'm with him and I'm supporting him. Anything he or she needs, I will be there for them. This is why when the Sahaba radiallahu anhu came to Rasulullah and said, أَرَبُّنَا بَعِيدٌ فَنُنَادِيهِ أَمْ قَرِيبٌ فَنُنَاجِيهِ. Is our Lord far away that we have to yell out for him? Or is he close to us that we can whisper to him? The Sahaba came to Rasulullah, أَرَبُّنَا قَرِيبٌ فَنُنَاجِيهِ أَمْ بَعِيدٌ فَنُنَادِيهِ. What do we do to call Allah? Allah revealed the ayah. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. Tell my slaves when they ask about Allah. See, there are 13 places in the Quran where it goes, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْهِلَّةِ يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْمَحِيضِ وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ يَسْأَلُونَكَ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. There are 13 places in the Quran where it goes, يَسْأَلُونَكَ different portions in the Quran. Every time it comes, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ, Allah says, قُلْ فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ كَبِيرٌ. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ قُلْ مَا أَنْفَقْتُمْ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلِلْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ. Anywhere in the Quran, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْأَهِلَّةِ قُلْ هِيَ مَوَاقِيتُ لِلنَّاسِ وَالْحَجِّ. Allah uses the word قُلْ. O Muhammad, you tell them the ruling. يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ قُلْ فِيهِمَا. Tell them, إِثْمٌ, there is sin. كَبِيرٌ وَمَنَافِعُ لِلنَّاسِ. There's great sin and there's also benefit. When they asked about Allah, Allah did not say to Muhammad يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ اللَّهِ قُلْ رَبُّكُمْ قَرِيبٌ. This is not how Allah answered the question. Allah تَرَكَ الْفَصْلِ لِلْوَصْلِ. Allah put all that away. Allah did not bring قُل in. Allah was direct in this. Did not bring a third person to explain, or a second person to explain to the third party where Allah is. Allah brought an ayah directly linked to Allah. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي. When my slaves ask you about me, عَنِّي فَإِنِّي. Look at that ta'keed. فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. I am very close to them. They don't have to scream. أُدْعُوا رَبَّكُمْ تَضَرُّعًا وَخُفْيًا. You can call it to your Lord in humbleness and fear. وَخُفْيًا. And silence. Khufya means nobody can hear you, Allah can hear you. And then Allah says, إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Allah does not love people who transgress or cross limits. We'll get into this detail at the end of the hadith. So when you do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much, Allah starts to become very close to this person. Allah is always with this person. He's listening to this person, hearing her needs, because you always do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why I teach my students and I teach my friends to have a misbah. In your purse, in your car, have a misbah. Or a clicker, or ticker, or counter. If you want to download an app, go ahead. But how distracting is it when you're doing dhikr on your phone and then you see a WhatsApp message? It's just, you need to disconnect yourself from anything of the dunya. Are you with me? So next time if you come to class, to the session, I'm going to ask everyone if you have a misbah. And if you don't have a misbah, Allah has given you natural misbah on your fingers. Right here. 15 or more. 15, however you want to count it. 30 right here, and add 3 more, you've done 33 subhanallahs. 33, 33, and 34, you've done 100. Just use your fingers. And sometimes your fingers, you get distracted, you can't focus. Have a misbah. Today, misbahs are just used for show. People just come and talk and they have a misbah in their hand. That's not the misbah that I'm talking about. That's a culture one. I'm talking about the sunnah one. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh had 1,000 date seeds. And he would not go to sleep until he went over them 10 times doing istighfar. So how many istighfar did he do a day? 10,000. So if anybody that says misbah, Prophet ﷺ came in and he saw his wife doing dhikr, and she had seeds. So what are you doing? So I'm doing dhikr. And she was going from Prophet, went for one salah, came back, and she was still sitting in her place doing dhikr. Prophet ﷺ said, should I tell you one dua, one dhikr that is far greater than the dhikr that you're doing? Alhamdulillah adada khalqi wa rida nafsi wa zinata arshi wa midada kalimati. Alhamdulillah adada khalqi. I praise Allah and the number of Allah's creation. Wa rida nafsi. And how much it pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa zinata arshi. And I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to how much the weight of Allah's arsh is. Nobody knows the weight of Allah's arsh. Wa midada kalimati. And how much ink it takes to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if all the oceans were made into ink, and the seas were made into ink, وَلَوْ أَنَّمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَوْ أَنَّمَا مِنْ شَدَّةِ الْأَقْلَامِ وَالْبَحْرِ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِذَتْ كَلِمَةُ اللَّهِ قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي لَنَفِذَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَنْ تَنْفَذَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّي وَلَوْ جِئْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. So Alhamdulillah عَدَدَ خَلْقِي وَرِضَى نَفْسِي وَزِنَةَ عَرْشِي وَمِدَادَ كَلِمَاتِي اللهم لا أحصي ثناء عليك كما أثنيت على نفسك. Oh Allah, we can't praise you like the way you are supposed to be praised. To do dhikr. What dhikr do I like to share with the public? 3 dhikr a person should do every single day. 3. Everyone should do istighfar. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. It could be the greatest istighfar. Allahumma la ilaha illa anta khalaqtani wa nahnu. You can do the Sayyid al-istighfar, or you can just say astaghfirullah. That's good enough. Or you can say astaghfirullah rabbi min kulli dhanbi wa atubu ilayh. Number 1, everyone should do istighfar every single day. Number 2, everyone should do salawat al Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You can have the complete salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim. Or you could just say ala al-qalil wa ala al-aqal. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, which is in the rukn of salah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. How many times? 100 times. And the last but not the least, everyone should say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah 100 times. Because the iman and the aqidah and the belief in the faith of a person is always targeted in this environment, especially the secular environment. So La ilaha illallah 100 times. I try to do it 100 in the morning and 100 in the evening. If someone wants to ask, what is the best time to do it, Shaykh? Sabbihuhu bukratan wa asila wa ashiya. You can do the dhikr of Allah after Fajr Salah and after Asr Salah. While going to school and while coming back from school. Or, yes?
After you pray Fajr and after sunrise comes up.
After you pray Fajr. After you pray Fajr. And right after you pray Asr. Okay? So this is a small dhikr that we take to know. Guys, if you cannot do 100, start with 10. Start with 10 subhanallah, or 10 astaghfirullah, 10 salawat al Nabi, 10. And 10 is multiplied by 10 times. How much is that? 100. We already did this hadith. So do 10. 10. And inshallah, you will see a change in your habits. And the whole idea is that before we leave this world, لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. Our tongue is always busy and moist with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, after that, number three, how you get nearness to Allah. You ready for number 3? Number 3 would be staying close and connected to the friends of Allah, to pious people. One is doing yourself, so Quran and dhikr. And number 2, Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. O believers, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how do you fear Allah? Be with the righteous people. And I said this before in a different session. It is really hard for everyone to find a person that is righteous, who they can look up to and follow and learn from and ask questions and share their weaknesses with. What I say in this environment, 2 things are a substitute of pious people. 2 things are substitute to pious people. And I have this complaint to my sheikh. I say, Sheikh, you're thousands of miles away from me. And when people have children, they call me for their name and asking what name should I name my child. When I have a child, I have to call my sheikh. When I'm confused about my community and what's being done in my community, I don't call my father, I call my sheikh. And I say, Sheikh, this is the situation in my community. How should I deal with it? I actually asked one of my sheikhs, my community loves listening to music, right? So what should I do? He said, don't tell them it's haram. That's what he said. I said, what? He said, don't tell them it's haram. So what I believe against it. He said, what's the point of telling something to someone when they already have another opinion and they're not ready to follow your opinion? It gave me so much strength. I'm like, okay, fine. Looking at the situation, be wise. Don't just go in and tell people what's halal, what's haram, what's halal, what's haram. Just slowly move out people from the wrong. And themselves, they'll be interested in knowing what's better for them. And then you'll get them closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, what's the 2 substitute for a pious company? If you can find it, if you can find a nice sheikh or sheikha and you're connected with them, hang on tight, inshallah, you'll be safe. But a substitute to this are 2 things. Number 1 is their books, their reading of their lives. The biography of pious people. The lives of pious people. Like a person wants to become a doctor, he starts to read successful people who are medical doctors and businessmen. So number 1, lives of people who are pious. For example, Hassan Basri. And if you don't want to go so far, look 100 years back, you'll find people who are pious and how they live their lives. From all aspects of life in every part of the world. Number 2 is the company and the gatherings of knowledge and ilm. Those gatherings. Programs. We don't have enough people to substitute the scholars they had in Iraq 1800 or like 1200 years ago. In the time of Abdullah Mubarak and Bukhari. We don't have those people in our time. So what you have is whenever there's a program in your community, you have to stay connected because this is the least we can do. 2 things. All right, finally, when you have these 3 things in your life, what happens to you is you start to develop a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing you start to feel that Allah is with you, He's on your side. You feel this support from behind you. I will do my best and I will make my dua, and Allah is going to give you more support. And that is when Allah says, وَلَئِن سَأَلَنِي أَعْطَيْتُ. Now when this person asks Allah for anything, Allah gives it to them. Then I give it to them. Not just like that. People say, I always make dua, my duas are never accepted. Maybe you need to start doing things like this, then your duas might get accepted. When Allah says in the tafsir of this ayah, وَادْعُوا رَبَّكُمْ تَضَرَّعًا وَخُفْيًا إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ in Surah Araf 55. When Allah says ayah, إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ, look at what it says in tafsir. إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Mu'tadeen are those people who cross limits, who are sinners, who do wrong, who know what's right, and they still compel themselves to do wrong. They indulge in haram. These people, they're lucky if the duas are accepted. They shouldn't question whether the duas are accepted. They're lucky that duas are accepted. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, of course, when anyone makes a dua, 3 things happen to the person's dua. And with the riwayah, 5 things. Number 1, Allah gives them exactly what this person or she is asking for. Allah, I'm asking for this particular house, Allah gives this person this house. Allah, I'm asking for this particular job, Allah gives this person this job, or a better job. Number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he saves his dua and gives him something else in replace of this in this dunya. So you were supposed to marry this person, you made dua, I want to marry this person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got you married 4 years later to someone else, which was in favor of your destiny. But this particular person was not written in your life. Allah will give you something later on, but not at that moment. Your dua will be accepted, but not at the moment. It said, Musa made dua against Fir'aun. After 40 years, Musa's dua was accepted. Nuh made dua, oh Allah, destroy my nation. It wasn't accepted right away. After hundreds of years. Said it took him 300 years to build the ship. 300 years for Nuh to make the ship. After 300 years, this dua was accepted. Yunus, in the well of the stomach, La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin, and tafsir comes 40 days. After that, dua was accepted. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Arju an yakuna min aslabi man ya'budullah, Taif. After 20 years, or some of the odd years, Taif, Allah gave hidayah to the people of Taif. So du'as are accepted, but they're accepted when Allah has best written. Like a child wants something cold or candy. The parents know this is not the best time to give this child the candy, and parents hold this, the best for this child, knowing the best situation of this child, and give it to him later as he matures in his life. Allah does the same thing. Number 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removes the difficulty in the life of a person. You were supposed to get sick, or you're supposed to lose something, something was supposed to happen in your life. يَرْفَعَ عَنْهُ الْبَلَاءِ. Allah removes a difficulty that was supposed to come your way. Maybe you're supposed to get into an accident. Number 4, these are 3 things in one hadith. Number 4, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you ajr of it in akhirah, reward. On the day of judgment, this person comes, Allah will ask this person, you made this dua, you made this dua, you made this dua, were you given the answer for this dua? Say, no Allah, I was not given any of these answers. Like the people of Syria, they're asking for help. And the duas are not being accepted. Many of them will die before they even see the duas come true. They see Bashar Assad go to hell in this dunya and akhirah. So before they even see the dua come true, they might leave this world. Does that mean the duas were not accepted? Allah will call this mother, this father, says, oh my slave, Ya Abdi or Ya Amati, you made this dua, did you get the answer to this dua? They will say, no, Ya Rab. Allah will say to them, in place of every dua that you made, I give you this reward in Jannah. I give you a selective reward. They will then tamanna, they will wish not one of my dua in the dunya was accepted, seeing the reward that is given to them for the dua that was not accepted in dunya. I wish not even one was accepted. Now going ahead, when is the best time to make dua? Two times. Ayyu dua asma. The Prophet ﷺ was asked by the Sahaba, what dua is most accepted? The Prophet ﷺ said, Dubra kulla salat al-maktuba wa fi jawf al-layl. After salat, what happens after salat? Right away we go into our phones and we start doing other things. Right after salah, make dua. And dua is not like, oh God, give me this, give me that, don't do this. That's not dua. That's like demanding. Dua is, of course, you praise Allah first. You praise Allah first. Then you send salutation to the Prophet ﷺ, and then you ask Allah. Minimum you should do in dua is say, Ya Dal Jalali wal Ikram 3 times. Ya Dal Jalali wal Ikram. The person that says, Ya Dal Jalali wal Ikram, Allah will accept the dua. A person that says, Hayyu Ya Qayyum, Allah will accept the dua. Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum. Anyone that says, Alif La Mim, Allahu La ilaha illa Hayy al-Qayyum, Allah will accept the dua. Wa'anat al-wujuh al-Hayy al-Qayyum, Allah will accept the dua. Ilahukum ilahun wahid, La ilaha illa wa rahman rahim, Allah will accept the dua. The duas are, you have to praise Allah. You can't just go to your father, Dad, people, I want a new phone. Dad, you're the best, Start praising your father. Allah loves it when you praise Him. And Allah does not need our praise. Allah loves it when He's glorified because قَدْ حَمِدَ نَفْسَ قَبْلَ أَنْ يَحْمَدُ الْحَامِدُونَ. Allah praised Himself before anyone read Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. You hear me? Before any angel made any worship to Allah or any supplication, any dua glorified, Allah was worthy of worship and praise. So tahajjud. Number 2, if you really want something, you wake up in the middle of the night. Number 3, travelers, the duas are accepted. People who are oppressed, the duas are accepted. Father for the child, duas are accepted. Let's go ahead. Times, of course, Ramadan, Makkah, Medina, those times of duas are accepted. When your heart is in pain, when someone hurts your feelings, Allah says, "Ana ma'a min kasratil qulub." I am with the hearts which are broken. If your heart, something happens in your life, and you're going through so much trouble, so your friend or your brother, your sister, and if you get married, your children, hurt your feelings. At that moment, du'as are accepted. When your heart is broken and shattered, that's when du'as are accepted. When someone hurts your feeling in the community, you think you're volunteering, and then somebody starts to judge you or says something negative against you, negative things about your effort, what you're doing, and you're just helping out the religion and the deen and the community, and they start to say negative things about, and you're put into so much pain. At that moment, don't curse them. Make dua for them. Make dua for yourself. Duas are accepted. The best way to make people's duas accepted is that make dua for someone else. Learn to make dua for others. أسوأ دعاء مستجاب دعوة أخيه لظهر الغيب. The fastest du'as which are accepted is a person making dua for someone else. Say their name and ask Allah for what they need. The angels will say, oh Allah, this person deserves more. This person deserves more. You never start making dua for someone else before you start making dua for yourself. When you make dua, you don't make dua for your parents, your friends. You make dua for yourself. It's a sign of your own humbleness that I need first. And when you make dua, you're allowed to raise your hands. How much? Up to you. The Prophet ﷺ raised his hands all the way like this in Badr. But raise your hands to show the need. I need something. And show your humbleness to Allah. And then I say, the sign of acceptance of dua are 2 tears. If you can't cry, make the face of a crying person. If you can't cry, make a face of a crying person. And this will help you. And then the Prophet ﷺ said clearly, make sure the food that you eat is pure. The du'as that you make will be answered. Make the du'as will be answered. And everyone here does not need anyone else to make du'a for you. Everyone can make this du'a themselves. You don't need to ask me to make du'a for you. You don't need to ask me to make du'a for you. You can make du'a for me and you can make du'a for yourself, and my du'as will be accepted because of you. Everyone needs to make a habit of making du'a 5 minutes a day. If you can't make dua 5 minutes a day, through your attitude, you're showing that you don't need anything. And not the 5 minutes dua that we do all the time, but a 5-minute dua with nobody around and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why I want to talk about this hadith. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me the ability to make me amongst those who supplicate to Allah with afiyah, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove all the difficulty of the ummah and make us amongst the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tomorrow's monthly Halaqa, and everyone's requested to come. We have a guest speaker coming, Majid Mahmoud. So please enjoy the session. There will be food before, inshallah.